All right, so this is pretty dramatic. Do you guys have a football question? I want to go football with both of them, basketball with both of them, and then I want to go to a subject that neither one of them know anything about.
You're hosting the debate desk, Dan.
Okay.
You're throwing out the football topic.
All right, let's go to the other room and see what we have here. And again, this is all born of the Chargers beat the Broncos last night, 34-27. Fun game. Charger defense all of a sudden can't do anything right. There's an advantage to going first or going. There's an advantage to going second here. I will go out to you first, Hawk, on your area of expertise. Can you please explain to me why Jim Harbaugh has been good at coaching defense, but why that defense, which was best for points per game the entire season, the last two games all of a sudden is getting shredded pretty good?
Look, when you're at this point in the season, you have to understand that things change, right? Like it's like that sophomore quarterback slump. You go out and you have a great first year, and then defensive coordinators adjust. They figure out what your tendencies are. This is what happens late in the season. And for Jim Harbaugh, him understanding both sides of the ball, when you brought him into Los Angeles, you knew that's what you were getting. Not just a guy who can tutor the quarterback with all the ability in the world, but also his understanding of defense, bringing in mentor. And in these moments where they go down by a whole lot of points and they surge back because of that prowess, because of that knowledge that he has on both sides of the ball, December is when you get the most from your head coach.
Look at this, Dan Le Batard. He didn't even answer your question. He didn't even address your question. The question was, the defense is great and has been shredded the last 2 weeks. You know why, Dan Le Batard? I'm going to tell you exactly why that's happened. Because they figured him out. Because the book was out. You know, he comes in, he's been in the NFL before, but he's been gone for a while. So a lot of guys, they don't know what he's doing, what he's thinking, or whatever. So he comes in with some new stuff, and everyone's like, how do we adjust? But guess what? The NFL, if anything else, is a study league. It's a league where we get playbooks and other playbooks, and we watch, and we learn, and we make notes. And we see what worked against other people and what didn't. And what's happened in the last couple of weeks, Dan Le Batard, is the league has figured him out.
I think
like Daffy Duck there.
I think Hawkins has
despicable.
actually Hawkins concedes defeat there because Amin spit in his face with a swollen lip.
They take notes. If you ask me which guy is the former football player dealing with a lifetime of football injuries, I'd be like, it's the guy with the fat lip who is cognitively impaired but also very sharp right now.
Hawk, would you concede that Amin won that because he said take notes in your face and spittle in your face?
He said it like twice, and it was a lot, and I couldn't hold it in at that moment because I tapped out by looking at his face, and then when I came back to, he was yelling notes with such emphasis. And I'm like, what is going on here?
All right, so 1-0 Amin, and it wasn't notes, it was notes.
Notes, yes.
Let's go to Amin now. Amin, please explain to me why it is that Joel Embiid cannot get along with Philadelphia, and if you believe he's not tough enough.
Well, Dan Le Batard, I think when you talk about Joel Embiid, there's a lot of things going on. Number one is I never want to fault a guy for getting injured. Injuries happen. Brandon Roy, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill. There's so many great players, Bill Walton, whose careers were shortened and their legacies were impacted by injury. At the same time, I don't think Joel Embiid does himself any favors when he talks in the media talking about, look at all I've done for this city, even though they haven't got out in the second round of the playoffs since Allen Iverson was on the sidelines there. Even though he came back not to run in the playoffs, but because he wanted to go to the Olympics, he came back for a good show of face to play in the playoffs for the Philadelphia 76ers. These little things, these little microaggressions, as these kids like to call it, those are the things that do not endear him to a city that otherwise would love him. Also, one last thing, he ran the scapegoat out of town. If Ben Simmons are here, nobody would be blaming Joel Embiid for anything.
True lack of leadership. His ego is swollen like Amin's lip. That is the issue with Joel Embiid. From a leadership perspective, you cannot go out of your way to show everybody how much you care about personal accolades. You cannot go out of your way to show everybody how different you are, how cut above the rest of you are, because all the people that are tasked with following you feel that and see that, and they will go away from whatever it is you're trying to do. So he cannot motivate anybody around him because it's so very clear that everything he cares about involves Joel Embiid. It's hard to get along with. And in those locker rooms where everybody is high paid and everybody wants to be the star, a real leader does not separate himself from the group. He goes out of his way to say, hey, all I care about is our collective success. And because of that, he will never get along with another star. He will never be in a position where he's in a locker room and people will fall in line and say, this is a guy that we believe in and we will follow to the ends of the earth. And it will show up every single time playoff basketball comes around that he is not of the creme de la creme as far as NBA stars are concerned.
Pablo, your thoughts? Do I have a ruling here? I don't love that on First Take they're sharing a microphone. I think we need to do better than that. In the next version of this, we will make sure
They're also sitting on a sofa.
to produce this slightly better than I'm producing it right now.
He's also forcing me to face him because he's on the profile of it, so now I feel like I have to turn that way. And I think he spit Neosporin onto the mic.
This is the thing.
Lots of it.
Amin has been trying to hide his face for two days. Have you not noticed he's done the show with his back to the shipping container because he's looking at me? He's never been so attentive on me in his life, and it's just because he doesn't want people to see the scar on his face. Pablo, how's this going so far? We need a third topic.
I am going to argue that Amin Al-Hassan is currently the best version of himself as a debater I've ever heard. Amin, you can hear him. You can hear the Queens. You can hear the Stephen A. in his voice as his cognitive impairment also is clearly upon him. I also would argue that Amin should probably try, Hawk knows this. Toradol is a thing football players get before a big game. Amin should actually hurt himself before debating. This is currently working for him.
This is my Toradol? Is that what you're saying?
It's the opposite of Toradol. You have whatever that is.
Do you were your feelings hurt by me underestimating you in this matchup?
Everybody. All of these guys. The only person I will allow grace to is Roy, because Roy said Amin's playing hurt. But all the other guys say, oh, no, this Andrew Hawkins, this or that. You guys don't understand. I do this for a living.
There it is. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You're cosplaying as Stephen A. Smith. That doesn't count.
He's cheating. Had I known he was just going to be Stephen A.
That's the game.
Of course
That's the game, huh?
Listen, it's one of those things. Skill. There's no way he's not a leader. You got to understand he's not
Now
a
we
leader.
have a fight. Now we got a fight.
I didn't know we were cosplaying. Is that what you wanted?
Yes, I want. You want to try again? You want a third chance on? Do you want a third chance on a topic neither one of you know about, so that we can do this correctly? Yes, you're both in a costume. You're both characters.
Now, here's the thing, Dan Le Batard. I know that the scoreboard already says I've won this thing. But if you mean to tell me I'm afraid of Andrew Hawkins, I will put my reputation on the line, and I will say this. Winner take all for this last one.
That was good.
Can we do the debt ceiling? Can we do the debt ceiling as the topic?
No. You know what?
Shut up, nerd.
Kick him out of here. Hold on a second.
Flag.
Just get
Someone
him
give
out of
him a
here. No.
penalty.
The debt ceiling.
That would be a great topic for debate.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for boring.